Hello. In this segment, we're going to talk about the product concept again, and we're going to talk about how product concepts have to have three components to make up a full concept idea. They have to have a resource, a market need, and finally the form that the product will take. And then the last part of this short segment will spend a little bit of time talking about the product concept statement. As we're thinking about the product concept and the product concept statement, I want to begin by brainstorming a little bit and letting us think about product possibilities and opportunities that are out there. And let's begin today by thinking about a resource or a technology or a skill. So for our argument, our discussion, what I want to do is talk about ammonium nitrate. So ammonium nitrate is a chemical compound, and we often think about or hear about ammonium nitrate as being a fertilizer, which it is. It's also a component that could be used for an explosive, so it can be a very volatile type of a chemical as well. So let's say that we have a resource and our company has a laboratory, and we have this as a source that we can tap into and we can have access to. And we're thinking about the many different uses that we could have for this particular chemical compound. Again, we know that it expands very rapidly. We know that it helps make things grow as a fertilizer. What you can also imagine is it creates heat as it expands, depending on different pressures that are placed on it. But it also creates cold, which is kind of interesting because you wouldn't necessarily think that. If you take ammonium nitrate and you mix it with water, then you'll have a chemical reaction. It's endothermic reaction, which is actually something that we use in cold compacts or cold ice packs that you break, and as the ice pack breaks, the chemicals mix together and you get a cold enclosed cold pack for sports injuries. So we see that a lot for that. So it's a resource we have. It can create cold that way. It also, when heated up and created and again chemically changed into a gas, is laughing gas as well. So interestingly enough, this one base compound has a lot of different uses. It can be used as a resource, but then now if our company can produce this and we have access to it, we could use it as a technology or an input material for many different other uses. So now we need to think about maybe a market need. And we could brainstorm on lots of different market needs that we could meet. So anything that requires something to be blown up or something to be grown or something to be cold, or if you want to use it as an anesthetic or a laughing gas as the dentists use, it could be made into that source as well, and we could use it for that. So the next step we would take would then to be thinking about, well, what type of market needs are there? Maybe we have a market need of a cold beverage. So putting together, we have a technology and we have a market need. So now that doesn't mean we have a product though. We don't even have a product concept really at this point. We have the market need and we have an opportunity perhaps, but that's where it lies. So we need to move forward, and we need to move out of this notion that we can just have an opportunity which functions as a market need and a resource. And in fact, when we think about this, we look at this diagram where we have the benefit or the need that's being met with the marketplace, and we have the technology or the resource that the firm has. And when those two things kind of meet together, we see new opportunities emerge, and that's what we demonstrate and we communicate in the product innovation charter. So let's move this one step further and let's complete this notion of so that we can move a product concept forward. And what we're going to do is we're going to add something that we call form. So the form is oftentimes the physical element or the physical kind of encapsulation of the product that delivers a benefit and contains the technology that we have. So imagine, if you will, a metal or some type of a container, plastic container that would hold a beverage, so like a Coke can, and inside this metal cup that holds the can, or this plastic cup that holds the can, inside it maybe we have our chemical component of ammonium nitrate and H2O, and somehow when we shake that up, those two chemicals merge together and form an ice cold container. So then we can put our Coke can inside the new container that we've created, and we're using the technology that we've developed, and we're satisfying the need of creating a cold beverage. So the container itself, the cup itself, the insulated cup that holds the chemicals together, and it's the cup that we put the can into, that actual cup is the form. It's the form of the product. It's the physical form that the product takes on in order to create to deliver the benefit or the need, or satisfy the benefit or the need that's being created. So as we think about this, we have the benefit or the need that the consumer has, which we know about already. We have the technology or the resource that the firm has. Now we're going to add to this the form or the physical element or item that's being created, or the service, which might be the steps that are needed in order for the service to be delivered. So this third piece is absolutely critical if we want to have a viable product. In fact, if you don't have the form, then you won't have something to sell to the customer. You have just the idea at that point. So what we do is we step back and we say that the technology or the resource that the firm has permits us to develop a form that then provides or delivers the benefit to the customer. So these three things have to exist in order for us to move forward. The form represents the attributes or the dimensions that the product will take on. So we may have a product, and once we develop the product, we could actually have very many variations to the product. So we could have different sizes of the product. We could have the product come in different colors. We could have different quantities of the product that are delivered at the same time. All of those are examples of changes in form, and every time we change the form, we create a new product. Here's another example that we can think about, a designer decaf drink or coffee example. So a benefit is consumers want decaffeinated espresso that tastes identical to the regular espresso that we might have. So espresso is a specialized coffee drink, which we would not normally find in a decaf form. And so that's the benefit or the need that the customer has. The technology is that we have in our laboratory, through research and developed a new chemical extraction process that isolates and separates chemicals from foods. So this could be a process that we use in a lot of different food elements or consumable good elements. In this case, what we want to think about is using the technology for the application of decaffeinating coffee. So the technology, again, it could be something that the company uses as a resource, could be used in many, many different products. We're just going to apply it to satisfy the particular need that the specific customer has. So we'll do this, we'll actually create a new coffee product then, and this coffee product will be darker and thicker, and it'll be a Turkish coffee like espresso. It may be something that we deliver in a small K-cup type form, so that it could be a personal use type of a beverage. It could be used as an instant where people add their own hot water and it creates a thick version of the coffee. Or maybe it could be like through a traditional drip form, or maybe even a French press or something along those lines. So the benefit, the technology, and the form all need to come together in order for us to create the product. So this leads us to the next step, where we want to incorporate form as an element of our PIC, and we want to transform our PIC into something that we call the product statement or product concept statement. So the product concept statement, similar to the product innovation charter, communicates what is going to be changed and how the customer stands to gain or lose in this process and in this new product, and specifically incorporates the form that the product will have. So again, the product concept statement is another written statement. It extends the PIC because what it's going to do is incorporate form as part of what takes on here. So we talk about in the statement what the market need is, what the technology is that we'll use, and then the general form of the benefit that will be delivered, that the benefit will be delivered in. The form of the product is incorporated here. Okay, so this is going to wrap up the whole product concept notion. If you have the product innovation charter, and then in addition to that, you include a shorter product concept statement, then it's going to help create a lot of clarity and move the product forward throughout the rest of the firm. So here's some ideas on the product concept statement. Like for instance, in a university setting where we have learning going on, or maybe in a teaching model for a corporation, we can have a statement that says something like learning needs of computer users. Okay, so that's the need that's being met, can be met by using online systems. Okay, online systems is the technology that's being used to let them see training videos. Training videos is the form of the product that we have on our leading software packages. So learning needs of computer users can be met by using online systems to let them see training videos on our leading software packages. So in this sense, we have learning needs of computer users. So learning needs could be a lot of different needs that, a user could have a lot of different learning applications. They might need to learn a lot, in other words. What we're specifying is that we want to take that broad need into the context of our company. So we have online systems. So that's the technology that we have. Now, we could use online systems to do a lot of different things. In this particular case, we're applying the resource to meet the need for computer users in our context of the products that we sell. And we are going to use training videos specifically as the mode of delivery or the product form in order for the customers to be able to learn more about how to use computers, learn more about us as a firm, and so forth. Okay, so this product concept statement has all three elements involved in developing the product, moving the product concept forward within the firm. Here's an example, a new way to solve an in-home training educational need of PC users. That's something like we're going to create a new way to solve a problem. Okay, if I just said that, that would not be sufficient for a concept statement. This just has a need. It describes a need that is needed in the marketplace, but it doesn't say how I'm going to do it. It doesn't say what technology I'm going to use. It doesn't describe the product that we're going to use at all. Another example here is let's develop a new line of instructional videos. Okay, that's great. We could, that's something that we could create. That's a product we have, but it doesn't describe how we're going to create it. It doesn't describe the technology we're going to use, and it really doesn't even describe the need that's being met in the marketplace. So again, that's an incomplete product concept statement. Third, final example here, hey, there's this new thing called the internet. Let's develop something with it. Okay, sure. But what? And what need will be met? So like this is a statement that's being made that describes some type of a technology or a resource that a company may have, but it doesn't really do much beyond that. Okay, so these are 3 examples of where we really don't have any basis to move forward because we don't have a complete product concept statement. This product concept statement should be derived from your product innovation charter. The product innovation charter should adequately describe an opportunity that could be used that we could take advantage of in the marketplace with, if we had a product form that really met all the needs that are out there. Okay, so wrapping up here, next, why we need a product concept statement. So much like the PIC, why we need the product concept statement is for a clarifying notion or element for internal uses. So internally, our constituents are going to want to know why we're moving forward. So similar to the PIC, we need to be able to communicate that to other silos and upper division or upper managers within the firm. We'll also use this concept statement to focus and drive the rest of the process, including market testing and concept evaluation and so forth. So we should be able to take our product concept statement, we should be able to give it to our potential customers and let them evaluate the idea so that we can begin to get some feedback from actual customers in terms of whether they would like the product, whether they would use it, and so forth. Finally, we also reduce, again, what we call the fuzzy front end, and we want to continue to do that as much as possible in these early stages of product development. We want to make as clear as possible what this product idea is so that people understand it and they can get behind it. All right, so now to wrap up. Brainstorming. We spent a little bit of time kind of thinking about a product idea or a product concept that's based on an opportunity focused on a resource and a need. We know that the product concept, beyond simply having a need and a technology that we're going to use as a firm, also has to have form. So form is the other big thing that we need to be able to have as we move forward. And then finally, this is all communicated through the product concept statement. Okay, so the product concept then is a big notion that we use. We may come up with lots and lots of different product concepts that we want to investigate. That doesn't mean we're going to actually bring lots of product concepts to the marketplace, but we start here as we begin the product evaluation or the concept evaluation stage. We start with a lot of different concepts that are described in the product innovation charter and wrapped up in a succinct manner in the product concept statement.